Hi, this is the Green Door Dinner Party. Welcome back. You have that friend or that family member who is famous for one of their dishes, whether it be an appetizer or a dessert. Like in our family, my sister is famous for her buffalo chicken dip. And anytime we're having a family get together, everyone says, "Oh, I hope she brings that buffalo chicken dip." I know you know the people and exactly what they make. I am known for my charcuterie boards. Um, they're not fancy. You don't have to go crazy. They're very attainable, but they're so pretty. They're a real crowd pleaser. They can be a showstopper at an event, and you can really suit them to anyone's taste, any time of day. You can make them kid friendly. You can do sweet, salty, savory, spicy, whatever you want. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make a charcuterie board. If you aren't familiar with the term charcuterie board, it's a real fancy way of saying like a meat and cheese tray. We're gonna add some fruit, we're gonna add some nuts, we're gonna make it really pretty, and I'm gonna teach you how to make it because it is easy, I promise, okay? First of all, you need to have your board, whatever that looks like. You can use a cutting board, you can use a platter. This is my favorite board for making charcuterie. It's an acacia wood board, and it's a fun shape. It's big enough to fill for a couple of people. If I was entertaining for a large crowd, I would use a bigger board. But this is my favorite one. It's an acacia wood. My husband got it for me for Christmas because when you are known for your charcuterie boards, you get to have a fancy board to put your cheese and meat on. All right, and now it's all about the cheese. I like to choose 3 or 4 cheeses depending on how big my board is gonna be, in different flavors and different textures. So I have a strawberry cheddar cheese that I'm gonna use today. I also have a smoked pepper jack, which I've never tried before, so I'm really excited to try. Obviously, everybody knows a pepper jack cheese, but this is a smoked pepper jack, which I think is gonna be fun. This one has some chive and onion in it. And this is an aged Gouda, which is gonna be a lot harder than your typical Gouda. So I'm excited to chop that up into some squares. And then I love brie cheese. This is a soft cheese. It comes in the wheel. I already took the wrapper off of it, but this is a soft cheese that's gonna pair so well. I really wanted to have kind of a summer theme for our board today. So once you've chosen your cheese, you can go as intricate and fancy as you want, or you could just do your favorite 4 cheeses. It's really up to you. My favorite way to cook is without a recipe and have it be totally customizable to what I like. So to get started, we've got our cheeses, and now let's talk about meat. Before we put it all together, I'm gonna walk through the ingredients. I think that'll be easier. So this is a Belgian ale lemon zest uncured pork salami. Doesn't that just sound fantastic? It comes just in a little log. This was not refrigerated. This was right in the deli section, kind of off to the side. So it was not refrigerated. I just picked it up at the grocery store today. When I plate this, I'm actually gonna leave it in its full form and let people kind of slice it off themselves when they serve themselves. So our grocery store has an amazing selection of charcuterie meat. You can go and select the kind you want. You can kind of talk to them about what you're putting together, how many people you're serving, and they'll help you figure out how much you need. But charcuterie is so popular for entertaining and just for eating that a lot of grocery stores and delis also have a grab and go section of charcuterie meats, peppered salami, regular salami, prosciutto. So don't be intimidated and don't feel like, oh, if my grocery store doesn't have that fancy salami section, that I can't make a charcuterie board, because you will be able to find some great meat selections no matter what grocery store you're shopping at. So this is a peppered salami. Again, thinly sliced. It's gonna be so pretty. It's gonna be so good on our summery board. And this one is just a regular salami. All right, this is just a regular salami, nice and thinly sliced. We're gonna fold that up nicely when we put our board together. So now we've talked about the cheese and the meat, the 2 main ingredients, the stars of the show when it comes to your charcuterie board. But my favorite part is I call them the accessories of the charcuterie board. And you can use really anything you want. Let your imagination run wild. Pair them to the season. I'm doing a summer board today, so I'm gonna accessorize with grapes, strawberries, and blackberries. And I'm going to show you how to put all of this together in just a minute. I've also got, to kind of pair with the pepper jack and a little bit of the spicier salami, I've got a hot and spicy honey that we're going to put on the board. And this is a raspberry honey mustard, again, bringing those berries in. I've also got some pickled peppers here. You can use olives, you can use the little actual pickles, those are really fun. And then we're gonna do some maple pecans, again, bringing in some of that sweetness. So those are the accessories. And then there's the vehicle. How do you get all of this wonderful meat and cheese and fruit? How do you deliver that to your mouth? I like to go really mild with the crackers and the breads, so that the cheese and the meat and the honeys and the jams are really the star. So these are just a poppy seed wafer, and these were right in the cheese section. They're called Two's Company cheese crackers. All right, our second vehicle, our cracker, these are they're called a baguette crisp. And again, this is just an olive oil and sea salt. Not a lot of flavor. You're probably not gonna wanna put cheddar crackers on your charcuterie board unless you're trying to make a kid-friendly one. Those are real crowd pleasers if you're doing a charcuterie board for kids. By the way, these and the next thing I'm gonna talk about are at our grocery store in the Italian section next to the pasta. So if you're in the cracker section, you're not finding things that look like this, you might have to venture out. But these are baguette crisps, and these are thin breadsticks. And I'm so excited about these, not only because they're a fun shape and they're gonna look really good on our board, but I'm thinking that raspberry honey mustard is gonna be fantastic with these guys. So we'll get to those in a second. Those also were in the Italian section at the grocery store. So now you've kind of seen everything that's gonna go on the board. Now let's build it. This is the fun part where you really get to be creative and have fun. Okay. You kind of look, take stock, check out what you have, and decide what kind of containers you're gonna need. Obviously you have your board, that's set. Well, I'm gonna need a bowl for my mustard, and I'm gonna need a bowl for my spicy peppers. So we know that those are gonna go in. I'm not married to where I'm putting these bowls right now. Things get moved around a lot. You have to be a little bit flexible when you're putting your board together. So we'll get these guys in their bowl. I like to pay attention when I'm getting my ingredients. Once you start making these, you're gonna find that it's really fun to shop for the ingredients for your charcuterie board. But when I'm buying my ingredients, I kind of like to pay attention to the colors and make sure that, we've got some color going on. That's part of the fun. These charcuterie boards, you can be very creative with them. And the more wine you drink while you're making it, the prettier it'll be, right? We're gonna get this mustard out. Give it a little stir. Oh, this is gonna be so good. I have seen the honey that I'm just gonna set that little jar on the board because I think it's so cute, but I've seen people drizzle the honey right on top of the brie. I don't want people to have to commit to that hot, spicy honey if that's not something that their palate is in the mood for. So we're just gonna set the jar of honey right on the board and let people decide if they wanna get into that honey or not. So again, not committing to where any of this goes until I get a little bit more on the board. One thing that is a little different about a charcuterie board versus your standard meat and cheese tray is that you don't cut all of the meat and cheese. I've got some cheese knives that I'm gonna just set on the board, and for some of that I'm gonna let people kind of choose their shape and size that they want the cheese. This one I am gonna cut. This one is the aged Gouda, and I am gonna cut that because it has a rind on it, and that can just get to be kind of a pain for people. Oh, and look at that. You might go, oh no, it's crumbling. Oh, it's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's gonna be so good. So you just we're just gonna put this in a little pile. There's probably a technical term for what how we're gonna serve this, but I'm gonna call it a pile because this is very casual. So you almost want these to just kind of be in bite-sized pieces, and you can kind of group them all together. Oh yeah, those are gonna be awesome. These I'm gonna leave so people can slice them how they want. I just wanted to make sure that people don't have to deal with that rind. Let's get our brie on here. This guy takes up a lot of real estate, so we should probably get him up right away. You can peel the rind off of this one. I actually like to eat it, so I always leave it on and just kind of get it started for people. This one is really good cut into like little tiny wedges. So just kind of as a suggestion, if people aren't familiar with brie, I like to kind of take that first wedge out and kind of leave it like that. Okay, so we've got our cheese on the board. We've got our a couple of our little accessories that are going to be in bowls. Now let's get some meat added. If you haven't noticed, this project is very hands-on. You're gonna want to make sure you wash your hands before you get started because you're kind of touching everybody's food. So I'm just gonna fold these guys just like this. You don't have to group all of the same meats together. You can kind of put some guys over there, and then see an opening over here, a couple over here. Okay. I'm gonna cut, since these are bigger, I'm gonna fold those into a little fan. That, like that. And don't be afraid about things touching when you get them on the board. The prettiest charcuterie boards are the ones where everything is just, you're taking up every inch of real estate that you have on the board. Fan those out. I don't like to use all of the meat at once. You certainly can if your board is big enough, but I like to put some back in the fridge in case I see some openings throughout the evening. If you're entertaining, you can just kind of sneak in, and I love to roll up the prosciutto too. If you keep a little extra meat, you can always restock as the evening goes on if you're entertaining. I've seen people do some really fancy stuff with prosciutto, like folded like a fan. I'm just rolling it and kind of mounding it here. We talked about this guy earlier. I'm just gonna leave him right there with a knife, and everyone can just kind of slice off what they want. Okay, so we've got our meat, we've got our cheese, we've got a couple of our little accessories, and our board is filling up. It's gonna look so good. You could cut the brie in half too. If you were like, I don't have enough room for my crackers and my fruit, you could cut the brie in half. And now it's time to add our crackers and breads. And these are just gonna pile them up everywhere, really. No one should ever have a hard time finding a cracker or a piece of bread on your charcuterie board, because they're everywhere. Tuck some of these guys here. And you'll have to move things around, and that's fine. These guys look pretty delicate. Let me break some of these in half. Just stick them there. Okay, look at this. This is coming together nicely. The fruit and the nuts, kind of depending on if you want them to be one of the main courses or if you just want them to serve as filler, you can just stick them in where you need to fill up some space, and then you'll have the option for a sweet little treat on our summer board here. Get some color on here with our berries. If I was entertaining a crowd, I would use a bigger board, but this is just gonna be for my husband and I, so we're gonna have this size of a board. We're almost done. We're back to our maple pecans. I'm just gonna reach in. There's some dried fruit in here too. These guys are just gonna go anywhere I can find a little bit of space. Those smell really good. And this is purely cosmetic, 100%. This is fresh rosemary, and it is purely to just add some scents and some color. And this, when I first started making charcuterie boards, I did not use fresh herbs or anything like that. I saw it on Instagram and I thought, oh, I'm gonna start doing that. It does smell really good though. I always think of rosemary more as a fall herb, but it actually looks really pretty with the fruit. All right. The only thing left is our utensils. Look at that. Okay. This guy's great for serving. This one's perfect. I kind of like to get people started. Like, there you go. Leave it right there. And then we've got this one for spreading that'll stick into the mustard, and a spoon for the honey. This honey's a little tiny. I love the little honeycomb wands, but I didn't have one small enough for this tiny little jar of pepper honey. So we're just gonna go like that, and ta-da! And here you go. Your charcuterie board is done, and put your serving tools in there, and really if you just follow those simple steps, choose 3 to 4 cheeses in varying textures, choose 3 to 4 meats. You can check out meats from your deli counter or find prepackaged charcuterie meats at most grocery stores as well. Add pickles or olives or other pickled vegetables, some spreads, maybe some honey, and then fill in all that extra real estate with crackers and bread, fruits and vegetables, nuts, fresh greens. And I think that the more you cram that tray or that board, the more impressive it looks and the prettier it is. So feel free, don't be shy, cram in all that good stuff, and your family or your guests at your party are really going to love your charcuterie board, and you can do it. All right, I hope you enjoyed the charcuterie board video and tutorial. If you are brand new to making a charcuterie board, you can do it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna have so much fun with it. Feel free to let your creative juices flow and enjoy.